The little girl found a scary scene when she was picking up balloons. She saw a big wolf dog staring at her from a distance. She was about to leave, but the owner of the phone didn't pay attention and let go of the rope. The wolf dog ran towards her like crazy. The girl was scared and cried. The crying also attracted the attention of a stray dog. She didn't hesitate and ran over. She blocked the little girl with all her might and didn't let the hungry dog get any closer. This gave the mother a chance to take her daughter away. The owner of the hungry dog finally noticed something was wrong, so he ran over. He thought he was going to take his dog away, but he didn't want to. So he picked up a stick from the side. Without asking why, he just threw it at the stray dog. 3, 2, 1. Everyone around them stopped to watch this scene. Everyone took out their phones to shoot him, but no one stopped them. At that moment, everyone became silent accomplices. The older bro finally couldn't watch this anymore and stopped the young man. "What are you doing? Didn't you see these children?" The stray dog was then able to escape. He left without regret. He took one leg as a price to help a child who was not his own, but ultimately people watched him with cold eyes. The video was posted on the internet. The old girl's rubberidokis disappeared after being hit by the big dog owner. I don't know if it's dead or alive. A hot-blooded netizen saw it and left a comment in the video. He said he knew this dog. When he was still in school, he took a picture of his back at the dock. He waited for his dog to graduate, but he was still sitting at the dock. He seemed to be waiting for someone. It turned out that Dingdang was not a stray dog, but a war-hardened rescue dog. This dock was also the first place where he parted from his owner. When Yang Chi came to the dog training base to pick up the rescue dog, all the dogs were very lively. Only he hid in the corner and refused to come out. Yang Chi saw that this dog had a story. After inquiring, he found out that his mother had unfortunately died in the mission. The dog had not eaten for a week because of sadness. He pitied Yang Chi for testing his heart for some food. It's strange. The dog ate quietly. Seeing that the dog had a story with him, Yang Chi decided to run away. Since then, the wheel of fate of this dog has started to turn. On the way back to the army, he saw that the dog liked the bell in the car very much, so Yang Chi named him Dingdang. Dingdang was also very satisfied with this name. He looked at the scenery along the way and was curious about the future, but Yang Chi left him halfway. It turned out that his grandmother was sick and he had to go home to visit his family. Dingdang just walked out of his mother's death, but he had to say goodbye again. He was reluctant to follow Yang Chi behind. Looking at the back of the owner's departure, Dingdang also remembered the first time they parted at this dock. After returning to the army, he saw that other dogs were held by the owner. Dingdang was envious. It's strange that Yang Chi didn't come back for days. When he was enjoying himself in the cage, an orange rolled towards him. Dingdang looked up and saw that the one who came was not the owner he missed. It turned out that Yang Chi was also thinking about Dingdang all the time. So he returned to the team in advance and even brought him to his hometown, Wushan City. Since then, Dingdang has also used practical actions to prove that Yang Chi's choice is correct. He is not only spiritual but also very smart. He can always find the target accurately in training. In this way, under the company of Yang Chi, Dingdang also gradually grew up. Although "Old man, you should thank me. You should thank this search and rescue dog for finding you." The uncle felt ashamed after hearing it. He kept apologizing to Dingdang. Dingdang was confused. He didn't know that he was holding a sign of a dog restaurant. They just pulled the uncle up. Unexpectedly, there was an earthquake. In panic, Dingdang ran up the stairs to find a way out. But the stairs suddenly collapsed. Yang Chi rushed over to save the dog. However, the next second, the stone tree suddenly collapsed. The accident still happened. When Yang Chi woke up again, he was already in the hospital. He was lucky to survive, but his legs were seriously injured. Dingdang looked at Yang Chi with guilt, thinking that he was the one who caused the fire. "It's all your fault." Although he said he was fine, Yang Chi still shed tears of pain because of the injury on his legs. What made him sadder was the separation he was about to have. Because of the serious injury, his superior arranged for him to leave early. Before he left, he gave the bell in the car to Dingdang as a souvenir. That night, they confessed in a training way. Dingdang was still as relaxed as ever, but Yang Chi couldn't keep up with him. He knew that the last love he could give Dingdang was to let go and let him go to a better place. But he didn't know that the dog's life was only for a master. No matter how hard his comrade pulled the rope, Dingdang wouldn't let it go. He shouted at the master and didn't understand why he had to abandon himself. Yang Chi couldn't bear to hold Dingdang, but she didn't know how to explain it to him. Dingdang hid in the doghouse sadly, hoping to save the master's life. But Yang Chi was helpless. Before he left, he found Dingdang and wanted to see him off, but Dingdang left in a hurry. He turned around and walked into his own house, but the one who was going to leave couldn't stay. While Yang Chi was saying goodbye to his comrade, he turned. Dingdang panicked at the moment. He hurriedly crawled to the window and begged the master not to leave. But a dog can't change anything. The master was about to leave. Dingdang escaped and chased after the car. He didn't understand why his mother didn't come back that day, but gave him a sense of security again. Now he had to leave. The driver saw the poor dog and asked if he wanted to stop the car. But Yang Chi closed his eyes and shook his head. He didn't even have the courage to take a look. In the end, Dingdang was exhausted and had no choice but to stop chasing the dog. From that day on, Dingdang has been in a daze. He didn't cooperate at all during training. Other dogs ran out to pick up the ball, but Dingdang sat still and didn't move. No matter how hard the new master pulled him, he didn't move. In the end, he escaped directly and ran away. He was lying on the lawn every day, missing his master. One day, he suddenly found an orange on the ground. It turned out to be a vegetable vendor who came to deliver fruits and vegetables. Dingdang suddenly remembered that his master's hometown is not just Shengchuncheng, so he jumped into the car unknowingly and sneaked out like this. After reaching the destination, Dingdang quickly got out of the car and came to this strange city. He searched for the whereabouts of his master everywhere, but he didn't find any clues in the alley next to the street. Unexpectedly, he met 2 dog traffickers at night. This was the first time Dingdang met a bad guy. Seeing them holding weapons, Dingdang realized that the person who came was not good, so he ran away. But he, who was not familiar with the road, was still stuck in an alley. He was caught by 2 people and brought back the dog meat bowl. It's full of stray dogs that have been caught back. Looking at the blood on the ground, Dingdang seemed to have realized something, so he screamed madly. He didn't expect to anger the butcher. Seeing and it grabbed the sign of our dog road town. It was still looking for a living person. I knew I was wrong. I was really wrong. The dog lover was about to take Dingdang home. When the car passed a square, Dingdang suddenly screamed loudly. It turned out that this square was the place where the owner bought water when he adopted it. The dog lover thought that it was convenient for the dog to pee. Unexpectedly, when he opened the car door, he only saw Dingdang jump off the car quickly and didn't go back far. He went forward all the way. As the street became more and more familiar, he became more and more excited. Until the evening, Dingdang finally stopped walking. He sat on the ground in a daze. His eyes never felt so happy, because the dock in front of him was the place where he said goodbye to the owner for the first time. After that day, he sat at the dock and waited. He didn't leave until nightfall. When he was hungry, he went to the garbage pile to find some leftovers. When he was thirsty, he drank some chicken soup on the roadside. The back of his lonely waiting was also shot down by a college student. Look at that dog. It doesn't move. It seems to be waiting for someone. However, it has been waiting for 2 years. From the rainy early spring to the snowy cold winter, he waited at the dock for several autumns, until that college student graduated and came out to work. He saw Dingdang still sitting there. The boy was moved by his loyalty, so he went forward to catch the dog. But Dingdang didn't hesitate at all, and left and refused the boy's kindness. He still waited at the dock as usual. Until that day, he saw a little girl who was about to attack a bad dog. Although he had a busy life in the past 2 years, he still didn't forget the mission to find the dog and save people. So he stood up without hesitation, but he didn't expect what happened at the beginning. He was beaten by the owner of the bad dog and only half of his life. After hanging up the phone, Yang Chi quickly inquired the netizens about the location of the video, and according to the information provided, he found the pier. After inquiring, he was sure that was his own Dingdang. This dog is very strange. He sat there for a long time and kept looking at the pier. He has been like this for years. I don't know who he is waiting for. Yang Chi was heartbroken after hearing it. He kept looking for Dingdang's whereabouts nearby, but he found nothing for a day. It turned out that Dingdang was saved by a pair of fathers. Seeing that his injury was too serious, the man planned to take him to the pet hospital for treatment. But coincidentally, on a staircase, they met Yang Chi. Although they were close, they missed each other. Maybe he smelled the smell of his master. Dingdang held his body and cheered up. Looking at that day and night, he couldn't help missing her. In the next second, he jumped down without pain. Then he turned around and followed the master. But Yang Chi didn't notice it at all. He started the car and left here. He only left Dingdang behind. They seemed to go back to the way they used to leave. But this time, Dingdang didn't have much strength to chase. He felt that his legs were the same as Yang Chi's. He didn't want to go any further. After a while, Dingdang went after him again, because he wanted to tell the master that he wanted to stay by his side forever. Dingdang, dingdong.